I'm a red hot mama. From my head to
Come on, everybody, get your hands together. Yeah.
sexy and brassy, so sexy and sweet.
That's the way.
Oh, come a little closer.
Feel my heat. Yes, indeed.
Feel my heat.
Well, I want to thank you very much for having me here today. You know, I know a lot about hot mamas because I have been through menopause over 10,000 times. I've taken care of over 10,000 women as they transition into, through, and beyond menopause. And I can tell you that most of those women say once is quite enough thank you to tough this out. But that's why I'm here today. I want you to figure it out so you won't have to tough it out. Let's talk today about one of the most common myths in the whole area of menopause, and that is that estrogen causes breast cancer. That's a pretty scary myth. So let's begin with 3 questions. Let's see where you are in terms of this myth. The first I want to ask you, how many of you believe that estrogen causes breast cancer? Okay. How many of you believe that estrogen is actually safe and it's something that you should be able to take for your menopause symptoms? Let me see by a show of hands, please. And how many of you are so confused or afraid that you actually aren't sure whether it should be taken or not taken? How many of you? I want to tell you that when I talk to women's groups around the country, many times there's always a few women that raise their hands for all 3 questions. It's so confusing. Let me tell you how this plays out in an office setting, how patients come to me. Betty is a woman that's 52 years old. She is having terrible hot flashes. I mean, she says that she's at work and it's like the sprinkler system is going off. She's just drenched in sweat. She says her friend jokingly tells her, "You're lucky. It's the furnace and not the plumbing." She's also got problems with sleep. These hot flashes are coming at night every few hours, so she can't sleep at all. And as a result, when she wakes up, she's tired. And then she's so tired that she's actually had to call in sick a couple of times to work. She can't work. And then what happens? Most important thing that happened to her that made her realize she needed help was she had a huge project done at work. She finished it, and she forgot to turn it in. So she went to her doctor to get hormone therapy. And her doctor said to her, "I don't want to read about you in the obituary section. I'm not going to give you hormones." Well, with that kind of information, it's understandable she was pretty afraid, but she had a lot of symptoms. And it's understandable for her doctor. The New England Journal of Medicine just printed an article saying that there are 80% fewer women taking hormones today than there were in 2002. And as a result, the doctors are getting less experience treating women in menopause or with hormones. Let's take a look at another woman, Debbie. Debbie came in. She had very similar kinds of symptoms. But in her case, she said to me, "Look, I've heard all the stuff, I've read all the papers, at least the newspaper reports of it, and I'm just going to tough it out. I'll get through it. Look, I can deal with this." So she said, "I'd rather tough it out." So here we have one who wants it and can't get it, and we have another one who doesn't want it because she's afraid of it. I see this every day, and it plays out across the country. How did it happen that the #1 medication in the entire country, the most prescribed pill in the entire United States, overnight became a lethal weapon? How did that happen? I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday because I was sitting in my office. It was July the 9th, 2002, and the phones were ringing off the hook. the receptionist couldn't keep up with all this activity. I walked out, I said, "What's going on here?" She said, "Did you see the paper?" She showed it to me because I had gotten to the office early that day. And it said, "Hormone study rocks the medical community," and went on to say that hormones increase the risk of breast cancer, heart disease, dementia, and other things. Untrue, I might say, but that's what it said. And when we look at it, you have to wonder, how could it happen? What would make hundreds of my patients throw away their hormones, and millions of women across the world throw away their hormones in blocks and not want to take it, be so afraid of it? What would do that? Well, let's fast forward 10 years. The same women were looked at. The same exact study was reevaluated, but this time they aligned all the patients and looked at it. How old were the women when they started their hormone therapy? And what they found was that if women begin their hormones somewhere between the ages of 50 and 59, all of those things they talked about went away. As a matter of fact, for the women who took estrogen only, there was actually a 23% reduction in breast cancer, a 32% reduction in heart disease, and a reduction in diabetes, high blood pressure, and a whole slew of other conditions. However, if that estrogen window closes, the reverse can be true. So it's all about timing. Estrogen is not good or bad. It simply matters when you take it. And that changes everything for so many millions of women. So I'm asking myself, where is the media now? Who's telling women about this important message? Because I want you to have this information so that you can become a partner in your health care. Let me just ask you, how many of you feel empowered with this kind of information? Armed with this information, you can actually become a partner in your health care. And not only can you impact your own health care, you may have sisters, you may have mothers, you may have daughters, friends, and you can be a messenger and go out and spread this information. And for my patients, Betty and Debbie, both of them are doing just great. They're both taking hormone therapy, and they figured it out, so they don't have to tough it out. Thank you.